Okay, now for Bob's first appearance, I'd just like to say a few words about him. Sue has already mentioned that our relationship to Bob goes back a long time. Just to tell you a few things about his career. He began performing on the road with a poet called Jim Hughes, and they toured as masked with a fine fiddler called Bridget Tickler. Actually, I won a prize of a 40-minute BBC radio programme in Sounds on Sunday. He also worked with Clive Palmer and has made records with him. He was in the Incredible String Band for many years. And a tape they recorded, which became a CD, on Desert Island Discs, Billy Connolly chose one of its tracks as one of his 8 discs. So there you are, fame indeed. Bob toured with Tom Hall and Jay Woodfield of the Ratliff Stout Band, and he's also written many librettos. The first one for Christopher Brown, and he's since collaborated with 10 other classical composers. So you're not really trying, are you, Bob? You've got to do it more. He also, to bring you up to date, he runs a weekly poetry and music event called Café Frug on a Thursday night in St Ives, and a very fine literature festival in May, also in St Ives, which is how I came to know Bob in 1984 when he was running that festival in September. This year the literature festival is the 12th to 19th of May, so if you fancy a spring break in St Ives, that's a good time to go, because there's also some, apart from the indoor events, there's lovely outdoor readings in Norway Square, which is a beautifully enclosed little area where the acoustics are really good for reading outdoors, and anybody can come along and join in. So that's during the actual September festival, which is still running, the Norway Square bit. Okay, so he also performs regularly with the guitarist Adrian O'Reilly. So that's all we've got time for now, apart from to hear from Bob himself. Here he is, Bob Devereux.
Yay!
It is a ridiculous list, isn't it? Yeah. Come and see the incredible Origami and his amazing folding paper act. He'll make your notes fly away before you've seen them go. Folds a note into a dove, another into a symbol of love, a dragon puff, where's that gone? Pound notes please, nothing simple, nothing plain. The picture of the Queen inspires his concentration. Mr. Origami will magic your money away. Ha ha! Ha ha! Gather round my little sea of phases. There's everything to lose and nothing to gain. Mr. Origami, once you've met him, you'll never forget him. Mr. Origami. Ha ha! Ha ha! Oh, what digital dexterity. Watch now as he folds a note into a paper boat and makes it float out of sight, out of mind. He's so quick, you don't have to be blind to miss the trick. He's faster than the speed of light. Well, not quite, but fast enough, fast enough. Mr. Origami! Ha ha! Ha I never know what to do when. It's a big problem, really, knowing what to do when. I've actually written something on the train coming up today, and now it's not going to be there, is it? No, it's not going to be there. So, I'll do something else instead. Yes. Chest heaving. Bubbling stores, snores, night dog. Their old man noises flood this wood. This room provides no roost for rest. I'm left here, stranded on a ledge. I word walk edges, craving sleep, combing my coast of memories, hoping to find some remedy, something adrift in murmuring. At Porlock Weir, the sea had dumped pebbles, a frontier barricade. Stone chatter sent us on a hunt, where shoreline groins control the wave. My wife showed me a mythic beast, torn from the cliff eons before. Warm in the stone, a rounded breast formed by the ocean's tumbling. plump dove with a hero's head, resting his chin on feather folds. Seacraft, certain in his shape, figure of somnus from the deep. I move, but cannot feel my limbs. Oh, sleep would be a gentle thing. Percy's asleep, disturbing all the ward. He's off with dogs where walls dissolve. His chiselled face is like that bird's. His harsh cries come as no surprise. He's out there now in silhouette against the dazzling sheets of spray. He calls his lurchers to him. Heel, boys, heel! His gun blows out behind him like a wing. A voice intrudes, says, have you slept? A clattering trolley heralds day. They bring me tablets in a cup and tea and toast and marmalade. I sit up, contemplating eggs. A curtain's drawn round Percy's bed. But he wasn't dead. He was just so bloody noisy that they sent him back to the old people's home. Coming up today, I always look when I'm just coming into Plymouth. I look over my shoulder at Saltash to see whether things are all right in the park, where I was commissioned to write words that go all the way around the park, carved into oak. And when I did it, I thought I was going to get a lot more freedom. I actually thought that I was going to devise a garden with poetry popping up in snowdrops every year. And the poem which I had or the poetic words which I had on the handrail, which said, we are carved in oak, we will outlast you. If we are chosen well, we will outlast the oak itself. I was hoping that alongside that, somewhere else in the park, there would be a place where there could be a poem which listed the importance of oak to us. For centuries, it was fundamental to us surviving, probably. Well, these are some of the things that it did. Oak fattened the boar. Oak cured the ham. Oak was a shield board for the man. Oak smote the fish. Oak tanned the hide. Oak sprang the flame that smelted iron. Oak started sparks to fire the gun. Oak were the staves of every keg. Oak were the casks that mellowed wine. Oak formed the frame that bore the beam. Oak channeled water, turned the wheel. Oak sealed the sail and was the boat. Oak was the ink that floated words. And if those words are carved in oak, they'll weather every storm at sea. And if those words are chosen well, they will outlast the oak itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Later this year, I'm performing a series of poems that I wrote about Hepworth's garden with a classical composer from Holland called Kees Heep, and a pianist composer and a soprano. Basically, what he says he's going to do is to play music between the poems. He sees his function in this as making walls so that the poems sit in rooms. It's an interesting idea. I've never done it this way before. Well, it's his way. And I wrote these poems. The first one I wrote when Hepworth's garden was open to the public after her death. I'll do that one for you. Her garden, a green cathedral to the god Pan, peopled with strange presences, primeval stirrings amongst the palm trees. The cherry blossom seen through a bronze eye of mystery. A great stillness, a great unrest. Comfort and question in one enigmatic smile. Sparrow sounds are not just sparrow sounds, gulls' cries, more than gulls' cries. The church bell, a bronze gong, echoed in every corner. Fan palm, woman form, blue cineraria, memory of Mondrian, light of Italy, green of Greece, fan palm, woman form. And then I'll read this one, private theatre. Because at one stage during the war, she was employed as a war artist, and she spent time drawing surgeons at work in a theatre. And it was actually a theatre where they were actually looking at the ear. It was an extraordinary thing. She made a whole lot of drawings of their hands and them bent over a figure. And anyhow, she drew a group of surgeons in their theatre gowns, clustered around an operating table. She grew to understand their focused energy, the tender ritual. The sculptor's eyes replaced the surgeon's. We see through her a greater concentration. Spaces well framed are charged with energy. Such fenestrations are her windows to the soul. The sculptor's hands replace the surgeon's. They guide her chisels. They refine. They hone. She makes a modern henge, a family of stone. She puts them on a stage to gather questions. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to do that. That poem and a lot more I wrote in 2013 because I was invited to read in Hepworth's garden, first with a harpist and then later with a flautist and then with my favourite guitarist, Adrian O'Reilly. So I did 3 concerts with people sitting in the sculptures and all around the sculptures, which was wonderful. And then it's never happened again. And then that I'm very frustrated because it was special. For me it was special. And I thought, oh, this is something I'll be doing often, you know. Ah, there you go. Some words are slippery, like fish, darting around. Sorry, let's go. Some words are slippery like fish, darting away quickly, down into the dark pool beyond memory. Others are quite spontaneous, leaping unbidden from the throat, flashes of brilliance, seeking to find higher places where they can spawn new ways of being. Some challenge the flow. They face upstream, gathering inspiration from what floats. If they were ever caught on this writer's line, they would add substance to his thought. Another experience in hospital recently, and it's very sad. I mean, this was Truro Hospital and they were short by 200 staff at the time that I was in there. and a lot of them were from Europe, of course. And nursing, you know, it's not just about doing what the doctors say. Some of the most important parts are something else altogether. And this particular nurse, Roxana, solved a problem. She really solved. I'll tell you what happened. I was on a ward with about 10 other men, and they were very short of staff, so people were seldom coming around, and nobody liked to ring the bell and call somebody in. But at some stage, at about 11 o'clock at night, they brought in a man and laid him flat on the bed, and he began to snore. He had his mouth wide open. You could see it across the room. It was a blank shape, like a horseshoe, the wrong way up. You know, the bad luck way up. That was it. Okay. But when Roxana came, eventually, after about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of nobody being able to sleep, and one man who was also a newcomer to the ward swearing at this and making as much noise as he was, really. And then she came in, and what she did was magic. Into this green ward's peace, a night delivery, a panting saw. It is so loud, it overtops the sea of sighing winds that wrap themselves around this tower block. Rasping, in constant work, it blunts its teeth on the marble face of other people's dreams. It is destroying sleep. Darling, Roxana said, breathe through your nose. Tomorrow she flies home to Romania. I mean, she was magic, and it's the little things. What she did was actually she pumped the bed up so that he was more upright, and then she pinched him just there, and without waking him up, she said, darling. She always said darling to everybody, but she said, darling, breathe through your nose, and switched him off. Just extraordinary. Some years ago, my wife thought I was moving towards being overweight, and she decided that a dog was a good solution.
Instead of you?
No, to exercise me. So this I think this can be the last poem in this set. I think. Yeah. She decided that that's what I needed. So she got a dog, and I thought, well, when I go out, I'm just going to be holding this lead, and that didn't appeal to me particularly. But I did write something. Do I walk this dog, or is this dog walking me? Must I follow this lead? But anyhow, I also found that he was very troubleless, and so every time I went out with him, I wrote haiku. I created them, and then when I got home, I typed them up. So here we go. This is a few of them. A constant dripping. Rain patters on leaf carpet. Tire tracks overflow. Winds reverse currents, driving the ripples upstream. Wind wars with water. Trees bend like besoms, a constant rush of sound, all brushing one way. Fine crystal droplets, a myriad mirrors, grey's sheen on wet grass. 4 young cyclists bonded to their bicycles, heads down and racing. Fresh yellow-green tracks snaking along the riverbank. They race to the sea. Water by water, path is another river after heavy rain. Debris of the storm, broken branches, brittle trees, the wind still blowing. A scolding magpie, shadows make the rabbits run, buzzards in the lane. Hail under hedges, fields of daffodils, foraging finches. Starlings are flocking, ice sizzles on the river's skin, whiteness sweeping in. Uprising over roots, the raucous clamour of rooks, distant curlews cry. A fading rainbow, heavy black drop, leaden cloud, 2 swans flying north. Hail hisses on the roof, light green wood on a fire, Hail hisses on the roof, like green wood on a fire. The tail of my dog is a hammer. He hammers at the door. He scrabbles a bit and he whispers. He stretches his jaws in a sigh. He wants to go out and discover what is making the noise in the sky. Through the window, still blushing with the newness of the day. And I lie in my bed and say, sorry, I've read this badly. I think I should read it again. Sorry about it.
Can you see all right?
No, it's all right, yeah. Hail hisses on the roof, like green wood on a fire. The tail of my dog is a hammer. He hammers at the door. He scrabbles a bit. He whimpers. He stretches his jaws in a sigh. He wants to go out and discover what is making the noise. Sky through the window still blushes with the newness of the day. And I lie on my bed and say, later. But my dog won't go away.
Bob Devereux.
Yay!
Bob will be back in the second half along with Sue and some more lovely open mic readers. We're going to take a 20-minute interval. Just to say, can I remind you about the Macmillan's nurses?